The Panther, formal designation Panzerkampfwagen V, or Armoured Combat Vehicle 5, was designed in part to counter Soviet T-34 tanks and to replace the Panzer III and Panzer IV. Designed in 1942 and rushed into service in 1943 at the Battle of Kursk, by the end of the war approximately 6,000 examples of the Panther had been built. While intended to replace the Panzer III and Panzer IV, the Panther ultimately ended up serving alongside the Panzer IV and the heavier Tiger I. Although not without flaws, the Panther was one of the greatest tanks built during the Second World War. A key feature of the tank was 80mm thick sloping frontal armour. The tank also possessed excellent firepower. Conceptually, it is fair to compare the Panther to the Tiger I, as both tanks were designed to counter and better Soviet tanks like the T-34 and the KV-1. While the Tiger I cost 250,700 Reichsmarks to produce, a Panther cost substantially less, each tank costing 117,100 Reichsmarks. While having essentially the same Maybach V12 petrol 690 horsepower engine as the Tiger I, the Panther's 75mm gun offered it better gun penetration. The tank was also lighter and faster and could traverse rough terrain better than the Tiger I. The trade-off was weaker side armour, which made it vulnerable to flanking fire, and a weaker high-explosive shell. With a potential top speed of 34 miles per hour, the Panther had a cross-country range of 62 miles and a road range of 160 miles. The Panther was rushed into combat at the Battle of Kursk in the summer of 1943, despite numerous unresolved technical problems. This led to high losses due to mechanical failures. Most design flaws were rectified by late 1943 and early 1944, though the Allied bombing of production plants in Germany increased shortages of high-quality alloys which were used for critical components. Alongside the Allied bombing, the shortage of fuel and training space, and the declining quality of crews all impacted upon the tank's effectiveness. Though officially classified as a medium tank, at 44.8 metric tons, the Panther was closer in weight to contemporary foreign heavy tanks. The Panther's weight caused logistical problems, such as an inability to cross certain bridges. Otherwise, the tank possessed a very high power-to-weight ratio, which made it highly mobile. The AK-7200 transmission which equipped the tank allowed pivot turns to be executed, but only when the ground resistance on both tracks was the same. This high-torque method of turning could cause failures of the final drive. The overstressed transmission system led to premature stripping of the third gear. This was compounded by alloy shortages which made gears more brittle and prone to failure. To reach the final drive for repair, the entire driver's compartment and transmission had to be disassembled and lifted out. The Panther's main weakness was its final drive unit. Germany suffered from a shortage of gear-cutting machine tools, and for mass production, numerous simplifications were made to the design and its manufacture, sometimes against the wishes of designers and army officers. Consequently, The final drive was changed to a double spur system. Although simpler to produce, the double spur gears had higher loads, which made them more prone to failure. The Panther had a crew of 5. Those 5 members were the commander, the gunner, loader, driver, and radio operator. The commander, loader, and gunner were all housed within the turret, while the driver and radio operator were in the hull of the vehicle. The driver sat on the front left side of the tank, and next to him was the radio operator, who also doubled as a machine gunner. Without doubt, the greatest strength of the Panther lay in the frontal armour and the 75mm gun. The front hull had 80mm of armour angled at 55 degrees from the vertical. This was welded, but also interlocked with the side and bottom plates for strength. The combination of moderately thick and well-sloped armour meant that heavy Allied weapons, such as the Soviet 122mm A-19, 100mm BS-3, and US 90mm M3 were needed to assure penetration of the upper classes at normal combat ranges. While it was of a calibre common on Allied tanks, the Panther's 75mm gun was one of the most powerful of World War II, due to the large propellant charge and the long barrel, which gave it a high muzzle velocity and excellent armour penetration qualities. Among Allied tank guns of similar calibre, none had equivalent muzzle energy. Only the British Sherman Firefly's conversion ordnance QF 17-pounder gun, which was 76mm in calibre and 55 calibres long, had more potential armour perforation power, but it was considerably less accurate owing to disturbances caused by the separation of shot and sabot, and at a cost of less severe damage inside the target after perforation of the armour. The flat trajectory and accuracy of the full-bore ammunition provided for the Panther's gun also made hitting targets much easier, since accuracy was less sensitive to errors in range estimation and increased the chances of hitting a moving target. The Panther's 75mm gun had more penetrating power than the main 88mm gun of the Tiger I, although the larger 88mm projectile might inflict more damage if it did penetrate the target. With a trained crew, the Panther was capable of firing 6 rounds per minute. With approximately 6,000 examples produced, the Panther was the third most produced German armoured fighting vehicle after the Sturmgeschütz III assault gun tank destroyer, which saw 9,480 units produced, and the Panzer IV tank, which saw 8,298 produced.
Many thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more updates, like and share. You can also help to support the channel at Patreon. Details are in the description box below.